Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode here at Just Gay Stuff Podcast. I am Jess.
And I'm Lauren.
And if you're in Brisbane, well, you know it's coming up to that time of the year again where it is Melt Festival.
That's crazy. I literally just said to you 2 seconds ago that I can't believe it's been a year.
I know, it's been a year. This year has gone so quickly. I can't even believe my life.
Melt was so much fun last year. It was a platform for queer creators to showcase amazing performances, and we got to interview an amazing bunch of people.
We did, and we got to be a part of it in a very big way without even the podcast featuring in Melt itself, but it was so much fun.
We were just around.
We were around like a risol. Anyway, so this week's episode, we actually are going back to our little interview sections.
I'm excited because we haven't done an interview in a while.
We have two special guests joining us to talk about their upcoming show in Melt. So please welcome Madi and Tai from the Shit Stirrers comedy duo. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
So good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having us. We're keen.
No worries at all.
I've never been on a podcast before. Yeah, me either.
Never been.
Oh, we're breaking some podcast cherries over here.
Well, I love that. I love being someone's first. You know what that's about.
Pop, pop.
So we are so glad that you reached out to talk to us. I feel like we have a lot to cover in this episode. So to start off, let's talk about the name of your show, which I have to say caught my attention straight away when I opened the email, and that is Hot Girls Don't Poo. So tell us what this show is about.
Yeah, because I want to learn about poo.
Lauren wants to learn about poo. She loves, this is going to be a good program.
A poo education. A poo-education.
There's plenty of poophemisms and poochication in this one. Yeah. It's set in a silly world where it's just become illegal for women to poo.
Right.
So it's like Handmaid's Tale for the toilet.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Right.
And it's about hot girls overcoming the poo patriarchy.
I love it.
So what inspired you to write this?
We both absolutely really love poo. Poo humour, toilet humour. It's really our cup of tea. Highbrow humour. Yeah, highbrow humour. I guess just us being friends and cracking fat jokes all the time, and then being little shit stirrers and little theatre makers. So poo was always on the table for us.
Literally also, or figuratively?
I guess. But I think being like queer and feminist and stuff, it was like that kind of feminist theatre, queer theatre has always been things that we've done. Yeah. So this was just had to come together in a big melting pot eventually. Making poo skits and rewriting the songs to ABBA to be poo related. The Trooper was my favourite. Diarrhea. The classics. Here we go again. That's kind of how it started. And then I still remember the moment that we both were like, you know, we had all this list of really ridiculous poo skits about poo. And then we both like, period poos. And then that was like no one's talked about the femme poos. Not that periods are feminine at all, but like that was just something that I was like, we've got something.
It's what we can relate to for sure. It's something no one talks about, so you're really bringing that to the forefront.
They're breaking the mold.
You're breaking the mold, yeah.
The poo mold. What inspired you guys to kind of write this other than what you just said? The friendship of poo.
A lot of just like us being stupid and silly, and also like really just us exploring the thing. Really love movies and cinema and B-side movies. Yeah. We really love that silly airplane humor. So I think that was also something that we just found ourselves starting to explore, and poo humor really slapsticky. Yeah, so I think we do like clowning. So that was sort of, it feels like just a weird conglomeration of like music too. Yeah.
So it started with you writing these parodies of popular songs, and then it obviously has a storyline. So can you give us some insight on the storyline?
It's basically a B-side action movie. Yeah. Or spy movie.
Oh.
I think we really enjoyed exploring these genres that you see a lot of men in. Yeah. And just to have two femme leads, it's really fun and really like, and
I mean, our characters take down the patriarchy.
Because you're not allowed to
Yeah,
poo.
I feel like we can't say exactly. We unite, clench, release.
So I'm like, what happens if you can't poo? Like, is this becoming like corrupt government? You have to go to secret places to poo and then something happens in that way?
Exactly. I feel like, yeah, I mean, whenever something is illegal, it usually goes underground, right? So there's an underground movement, per se.
It's underground, so you don't know about it. It's top secret.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, definitely.
There's something bubbling and brewing.
From the toilet. Was any of this show, I guess, kind of written from personal experience?
Yeah. Were you in a relationship where someone was like, oh, you know what? I really don't want you to poo at my place.
Or it's kind of like the thing where they're like, girls don't poo and girls don't fart.
Girls don't fart. Don't do that around me. It's gross.
Yeah, well, as a child, I was really like, no, girls don't poo. Girls don't poo. Girls don't fart. Which is so silly. Like, I was lying to myself.
Holding it in.
Yeah, that's not
Holding
good
it
for your
in,
health.
Which is, also quite dangerous for you. Exactly. It's really bad. And I feel like I want to make sure that other people don't feel that. We all poo, and that's beautiful. It brings us all together.
Yeah, I'm like the youngest of 8. I was Fart City in my house. That was our sibling humor, was just like fart jokes, poo jokes, ha ha ha. So very liberal on the poo. But on other ends, I guess with like sexuality and stuff, just dealt with that more repression. And so the poo metaphor was like a lovely, also to joke about poo and be disgusting when I was sort of taught to be like
ladylike.
Clean and nice and polite, and you don't say naughty things. And good girls don't do that. And wow, you're so loud, So it was being able to make poo jokes and fart jokes. And even like I'm Māori, but I don't speak te reo. But the only Māori words that I do know are the words for poo, fart, and penis, because those were words we couldn't say at home.
So the only ones you needed.
Yeah, right. What else? What more do I need? But, to me, that said a lot about, I guess, shame. And it's like I'm literally saying the same words, but I can't say them in English because that's rude. Was like a really funny experience growing up. So I think the whole thing is just about releasing it. And
It's a weird psychology, isn't it? That because some people don't understand the same language that you understand, it's okay to say. But anyone that could understand that could walk past you and know exactly what you're saying.
Also, the pun intended that Tai was just like releasing it. And I was
exactly.
I think the funny thing is that when we break down the barrier of all that cleanliness and the ladylike and the properness, and we can actually have those real conversations, we can open it up. It starts with poo jokes, and then you can open it up to have those more
in-depth
conversations. Yeah, exactly. And connect with people on a deeper level once you agree that we all do poo.
I think people also forget that women are a lot more feral than men.
I wouldn't say a lot more feral.
Well, we are. We're very blunt in our descriptions in what we say compared to men.
That was a visceral reaction from Tai, can I just say?
Because she knows facts.
Well, I remember using the men's bathrooms. I mean, this was also maybe me not fully realizing my sort of non-binary transmasc identity, but I remember always using the men's bathrooms because the girls' bathrooms at school were a whole other level of atrocious. I remember we had multiple times people would stick their pads
Yuck.
on the walls, and we also had our bathroom doors were it's so gross. And then our bathroom doors were kind of like this opaque glass. So you can kind of see there was a body in the bathroom. And so, this happened, unfortunately, more than once. I want to say 3 times, but I think it was just twice, where someone had shit and smeared it all over we all knew who.
That also happened at my school. Or somebody would shit in front of the toilet.
What?
On the ground in front of the toilet. Which is such a bizarre.
We didn't even ask at the beginning where you guys were from.
Yeah, I'm like, what school did you go to? This is a whole other level.
I'm from Cleveland.
Maybe we didn't go to the right bathrooms.
You knew the good bathrooms and you knew the bad ones.
Yeah, which ones to stay away from.
But also circle back to that like power of naming things and being like, I poo, and that's what I do, and being like okay with being a bit feral. I just think is so powerful.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love a poofism, but I think it's just so interesting the way we use words like, oh, a fluff, or like a, you know.
Yeah, to make it sound prettier when it's not pretty, is it?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you have described the show as a sapphic slapstick comedy, and then you just said it's like an action movie. Do you have some sort of example of what it compares to, or have you just like completely filled a gap in the market?
I'm also trying to think of how that relates to each other.
Yeah, where do the lesbians come in? I just want to know. I'm asking for a friend.
I have no
Red hair.
idea.
I think it's very much in the similar style of Naked Gun or Hot Shots, Top Secret, like that kind of late 80s-ish funny movie, silly movie, that kind of humor. We've got our two lead characters. Number two tight cockatoos. Ophelia Janus. And they've been torn apart and they're reconciling. And it's a really beautiful love story in amongst all the nonsense and chaos and farts and bringing down the poo regime.
Also coming from like, that's the story, and then coming from where we are as artists, just being a queer artist. I feel like anything I do is queer, like, without it, you know, like whether it is or not. But obviously this one is explicitly.
So the poo is really the thing that brings the people back together.
Don't you know, Lauren?
The poo is the glue.
Poo is the glue. Yeah, it holds people together.
Does.
The poo is the glue. Say it with me.
Poo is the glue. Well, could you guys take us through what the process of taking the show from an idea to a full-blown production was?
It's been chaos. I think we've just had so many different ideas all over the place, and it's been like, ooh. But we finally sat down a few months ago and we're like, okay, let's get a structure together. And we pretty much zoomed till late at night every day for a week until we had a basic script. But a lot of we've done like a little bit of work together so far, and most of our work is like it's just us in our costume and sound design. There's nothing else. So
yeah. And we do have like a structure brand ties. Like we kind of had a long time of like wanting to do things together, and then we started doing little like cabarets and stuff around queer nightlife here. Shout out to Galore Presents and events who like let us perform in their venues and nights that they hosted. So we sort of did a bit of like drag acts and then just performance acts that I'd put under theatre. They're all just labels. But just like really fun cabaret acts, and then we sort of got a groove and then would find things. So it was quite what Maddie said, of lots of sparse ideas together. And then this is kind of like the idea is to do lots of developments over time. Like you don't usually just do a bunch of work and then boom, we've got a perfect show. It's like, cool, we've got our first development, it's banging, come watch it. And then we'll get to see how people react to it, like with a live audience. We've got 5 shows in October, and then we'll back again beginning of December, but we've got 2 shows, so it'll sort of be like if you like that, well, we've changed it and made it more kind of thing. So yeah, develop it further and hit up some fringe festivals or something, you know.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think it's a process everyone experiences differently. So you've talked about how it went from an idea to being a show, and then once you have this baby that you want to show the world, how did you then get it to be a part of Melt Festival? Because everyone's experience is different.
True. We got our artist residency with Backbone Theatre. And so we're technically part of Backbone Festival, who I think Stephen has told me it's drawn into Melt Festival. Yeah. So that was just a luck, as well as, you know, we had this idea and we wrote out an application for Backbone Theatre, which is a great theatre. That whole Backbone is like a hub for artists to write first shows, so it's kind of an incubator for brand new works.
No, that's really cool. So it's good to have a platform for people like yourselves to actually get those first ideas in somewhere and off the ground, because everyone needs that first introduction, because then who knows where you're going to go from there. And especially if it's received well by an audience, then you've had this platform to really launch you somewhere. So yeah, you have to be thankful for that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think also just that being an independent theatre maker, having some level of support just goes a long way. So being able to have a venue,
a rehearsal space, some people to give you feedback, seen it all before, it's just been instrumental to making this feel or to legitimizing it, which has been such an incredible experience.
I was going to say, that must be such a surreal feeling to have like this, from going from Zoom ideas and scripting to suddenly being like, oh, here's our live performances, and obviously tweaking things. I'm a theatre girly, so I get it. But like, what a surreal feeling. Like, how has that felt for you guys to like have your work come to life essentially?
Like throughout this year, it's just been so beautiful, so lovely, and to do it with like my best friend, it's just been such a delight, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so thankful, and I'm so grateful for Tai and like all the opportunities that we've had so far. It's been a delight.
Aww.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I'm also just like filled with gratitude, and it's made it really easy. I feel like last year when I was doing other projects, I remember just like really aggressively practicing gratitude. Like really like, I'm grateful that I get to sing this music, or I get to do this play, like pedal to the metal, like and then this year it's not that it's been easy, but like it's been easy to practice gratitude, or because it's it's just so fun. I get to so much creative control. Get to do it with this stinker. Getting to make theatre that you want to see, I guess. And it's been I really feel like it's been like, sometimes I'm like, I'm just like playing. I'm not even like doing work, just choosing what I feel like doing and then doing it. And the fact that then we get to make a show out of that is pretty dope.
Yeah, it really is a blessing when you get to create something magical with your best friend. And speaking of you guys being best friends and in the comedy and theatre space, I want to talk about you two as a comedy duo, the Shit Stirrers. How did this journey begin?
Well, we met through acting classes. Well, I did an audition and I was so intimidated by Tai. Tai came out. And like, I'm quite tall. Ty's a little bit taller than me, and I was like, what's this? Anyway, I was really intimidated. Did the audition
for me.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I was directing a show and Maddie auditioned for me. But then you did get the role.
Yeah.
And then we also canned the production.
But so we kind of like knew each other and did a play together.
Yes, Wolves. That was actually one of my favorite. Sorry, I just cut right in. If that's cool. I love doing Wolves. It was really fun. One of the reasons, many reasons I love doing it, was because it was the first show or theatre. It was the first show I'd ever done where the whole cast and crew was female or non-binary. And I was just like, oh, this is the best thing ever. The whole crew as well, like Kale and Samara and Michaela. I don't know. And then the whole cast, that was just something I was like, wow. And for like weeks, I remember being like, why is this so good? Why is the energy here so great? Why? And then I was like, duh. And then we became really close over that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then what did we do next? Oh, and then I kept coming over all the time and we'd make poo jokes and go on little picnics and just write skits or just improvise skits generally about poo. And that continued, and then which was fair because he didn't have a solid concept. That makes sense. Then we kept at it, and we applied for some galores, and we did some other stuff separately. And then we got one galore, and we were like, "Wow!" And then we got another galore, and then we got old, and then we got Backbone, and it was just like, "Oh, okay, let's keep doing this."
Yeah, it kind of just slowly grew. Like with that, lots of little projects. We did that silly ballad music video, all the little acts, all the like,
and clown cab with gesture,
and silly photo shoots. That was also just really fun.
That's probably.
You guys planted all these little seeds and now you're reaping what you can sow. Like you're cutting all the flowers because you've planted it all.
Also, was the Shit Stirrers comedy duo name because of the whole love of poo thing?
Or just because you're shit stirrers? Or is it double entendre?
Both. We came up with that name pretty quickly, but I think we were both like, I don't know. But like we always kept coming back to it. And I think it just got funnier and funnier. The more we kept being like, no, but yes. Oh, that's just so... We're little shit stirrers.
I think we also, for a lot of the applications, we needed a name, which we'll just chuck it in. But it's been really cute. A couple of our friends have made us shit stirrers bracelets and necklaces.
Oh my God, two gets a block.
Yeah.
The merch is coming already.
So
I can
lovely.
see it. Okay, so you have mentioned the word queer and you have mentioned sapphic in your description of the show. So could you tell us a little bit about your own queer journeys, if you're free to open up about that a little bit? We love to talk about how we got to a space on this podcast.
Sure do.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just grew up with a lot of shame in general, not necessarily, I mean, yeah, it was queer shame, but like just shame in general about just being anything too much or not. So I think that was just something I really carried with me for a long time. And it was only in the last 3 years that I've kind of been like, sort of taken on the identities I have now and been like, okay, I really just go with queer because I think that's what describes me. And I like that holistic.
The umbrella term.
Yeah. And like, I think the best thing, so when I was first questioning just my sexuality, I was thinking that I was ace, which I still identify with. And I think I was really glad that the first sites, when you look up like, am I gay?
Yep.
Take the BuzzFeed test.
Yeah. I did all the tests. But like, when I was looking on sites also for asexuality, I was looking for like every sexuality, but asexuality, the first thing people would say is choose what sexuality means to you and then go from there. And so I was like, I can just choose what words mean, was kind of a big step for me in rerouting my brain. And so I kind of went on a big journey of like, okay, what does sex mean for me? Like, what does that look like? What does that even mean? What does gender even mean for me? What does it look like? What does sexuality mean? And then, I just found that question was one of like, I can choose what things mean and I can choose what things look like and how I express them. And that was kind of instrumental to my little journey. Lovely.
Do you have a time, I guess, where you first kind of questioned yourself? For me, it was at 12 years old, but I didn't actually come out until I was 26. So was there a moment that you kind of went, oh, yeah, maybe, but again, we're all filled with the shame, unfortunately, due to society and all that crap, pun intended.
Well, I remember so fiercely when I was in like year 2 being like, I have a crush on everyone. And I remember people being like, that's not allowed. And I remember being like, no, but I do. Like, I really remember having that adamant. And I remember having this one friend of mine, like I had the biggest crush on her. And like, so I think when I was like really little, I just knew and I expressed it really openly. And then it was only when I was older and had the more learned shame and really clued into the social dynamics of, people reacted, that I think repressed it. And even now I'm like out, but I'm like in a lot of other parts of my life or to specific people, I'm like not, because I'm like, there's just still a lot of shame navigating it. I think that's why I love queer theatre. And every time I see
it's a safe space.
Just queer people. Yeah.
Talking about that and picking your safe people that you can, I suppose, be open with, you don't know how someone else is going to perceive you. Like, we have come a long way in society, but so like I own my own business in entertainment. I'm a performer and I'm very particular about who knows I'm queer, because you can lose a job like that and you don't want to lose a job because then you lose money, then you lose your livelihood. There are so many little things that go into it that I feel like, when the argument of why is there no straight pride, it's like, well, that's why. You don't have to second guess telling someone who you're married to or who you're dating or all of these things that creep up in the back of our heads when we're like, should I be open with this person or should I be closed?
It's true. Like, Jess and I are partners, in case you guys didn't already know that, but I am very cautious of when I attend a gig of hers and she's talking professionally to someone, and that's just unfortunate that we're living in a society where we still have to do that. So
yeah, so it is adamant that we have to still pick and choose who we are open with. Because of your background, did you feel any different pressures or shame?
Yes and no. My sort of Māori side of the family is all Mormon. But funnily enough, I'm also the youngest sibling. By the time it got to me, everyone had left the church and was a bit bored with it all.
right.
And I never grew up with in my immediate family was not religious. They're all pretty yeah, which was really nice. And I actually find even my Māori extended family that are religious, they just don't really care. I think there's a different, I don't know, I think the way different cultures express their religion and the way organized religion is also different from spirituality and whatever. It's very nuanced and complicated, but I feel sort of a lot more loved. I find it's either the white side of my family or even just the non-religious side of my family that people just have really odd judgments about. And I can tell, and I can tell that it's their own shame kind of thing being projected, but sometimes it's from people that I'm oh, I didn't think you would care. And it's, I guess, a good reminder that, what you were saying of you just have to be aware and be a bit careful and do that emotional labor. But Maddie, I feel slightly exposed.
Yeah, so Maddie, share your story now.
Don't expose yourself on this podcast. It goes to radio.
We don't have that kind of budget.
I love it.
I grew up in a very religious area. My immediate family wasn't religious, but extended family was quite Catholic. And the area I grew up in was a lot of Pentecostal kind of Christians. So I think there was some interesting messaging that I received there, particularly mixed messaging, I think, as well at school of two girls kissing is really hot or not, that's not hot. That's gross. Stop doing that. So it was really quite confusing. But I think when I was about 12, I had a crush on a girl at school and I was oh my God, something's wrong with me. And then I Googled it and then I was oh, maybe I'm okay. Maybe I'm not. And I felt like the internet, and particularly Tumblr, was just such a friend for when I didn't really have any of those connections. And then youth arts started up in my small town, and that was a game changer of people coming in and oh, queer is okay. You don't just have to have a really specific nuclear family, but there's other options out there. And that felt like a real game changer. But my immediate family, they are so supportive. They feel very lucky. But I think, I don't mention anything at work about partners or anything like that. Of just, like you said, safety. You want to just protect yourself in case, because you don't know people's true feelings.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. You both touched on religion and your both coming out stories, but did you guys have any kind of representation growing up, or what did that look like for you?
Who made you feel wow, I might be gay?
Yeah.
Charlie from High Five.
I get it. I've met her, but I get it.
I've also met her.
You keep talking, I need to think.
I don't really feel like I did have representation that I was actually aware. I'm trying to think of people in the early 2000s, because it was still quite a big thing to come out as gay, in the because actors were worried about their jobs and stuff like that. So it was, I don't know, I feel like it was more of a, maybe when YouTube and stuff came about, where people telling their stories and that kind of storytelling was more in the hands of the user, that I started to feel a bit more these are real people. These are
not just stories, but people actually living their lives.
Yeah, it felt relatable.
And you spoke about before, when youth arts started up, your world opened up. How did that feel to go from, oh, it's just me and I might be wrong or I might be right, but now I've joined this program and I can see other queer people. How did that feel, having that representation in real life for you?
So freeing, and just to have a space as well. I felt it at Alton galore, of just actually feeling really, really welcome, and I don't have to hide any part of myself. It's just so, I think I'm always, maybe not always, but I feel you're slightly on guard in some social situations, but just there I felt so welcome. It was so nice. And it opened up a whole new world for me, like you said.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I feel on guard sometimes too.
I think what you said about that like live theatre representation was that was something that I think really hit me. And like just seeing, I guess Brisbane has quite a awesome kind of queer community of queer performance. And also so many drag kings. Like Brisbane's a big city, but it's a pretty small city, you know? So it's like, I think it's really such an awesome community and some really fierce performers that, just seeing people shaking their ass on stage and being so unapologetically who they are.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many campy, supposed to be purely hilarious drag and like just performance art shows I've watched. And I've just been crying because I've been like, you just have no shame. Like just so unapologetic has meant a lot. And I feel like I never got the representation I needed on screen, both as a queer person and like as a brown person. And the few times I remember seeing like a brown person that either is explicitly queer or just like has been adopted as a queer icon by myself or by like a larger community have been like so potent, and it's been like, whoa, this is amazing. I'm just obsessed with this person. But I feel like that representation in general was never really there. And that's why I'm really obsessed with like high school shows, like just really shitty high school like rom-coms and all those coming of age movies. Even the really bad ones, I just watched with such a big heart because I was like, I guess my high school I felt was really hard in a lot of ways. And so watching just the really airy-fairy ones, I'm like, that's so nice. You got to just be kids and come of age normally and explore sex normally. But I didn't get that. Or even better, the really good ones nowadays. Like Sex Education was obviously one that I really liked, and
Heartbreak High. Favorites too.
Yeah, seeing those, and I was like, oh, and now there's good ones. I'm like, that's like if I had to pick one genre, it's a bad genre to pick, but I would just pick high school rom-coms forever.
Betcha no one put shit on their toilet walls, though.
I don't know. Sex Education had it.
I love that episode.
So talking about how you both pretty much said you didn't see that representation in the media for yourselves growing up. So in your opinion, how important is that representation in current media now for the new generation coming through?
So important.
Yes, so important.
It's just seeing people just like push the message that they think is important. You know, it inspires other people. But even like the silly acts, just seeing people just be themselves and not care just inspires me to be okay with myself.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
make art.
Do you think you would have come out a lot sooner had you had the representation?
Yes.
100%. Also, like, I had better representation, but also, like,
better support and some sort of understanding of it, just in general, in my immediate community.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
knowledge that other people exist like you.
And language, like, if my broader community had the language, then it'd be so much easier to communicate. If I had the language of, like, what I was experiencing or wanting to express or, you know, like, all of that.
I really do think it's important what you said, though, when we were talking about your coming out and coming to terms with your journey was, what does it look like for me? We've not interviewed someone who's said that. And I think that's a really important message to put across to anyone who's listening that might be experiencing their own coming out journey is, what does sex look like for me? What does gender look like for me? What does sexuality look like for me? I think those are three really big questions because it's not, I guess, making something up for yourself, but it's like, what do you understand about it? It's like we don't all see colours the same. Our eyes are all different. So it's the same as the way we look at the world. And I think we are taught things so rigidly that there's no space to open that up. But asking ourselves those questions opens that up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when I don't know where I stumbled upon that question, but that phrasing as well of what does that look like? At least for me, that was just a particular words that I'm like, oh, that resonated with changing my paradigm of how I see things.
Yeah. And I don't think that you would be the only one. I think quite a lot of people in their self-discovery journey would benefit from, like you said, knowing the language, essentially.
I feel like I've been through my journey and I know who I am, but just hearing Tai say those things, I'm like, I've never thought of it in that aspect. Like, oh, I've never asked myself what I actually think of it. We're always asking ourselves, oh, what would this person think of me? Instead of just asking ourselves, what do we think? It's you're like flipping the narrative.
That's so true. I'm constantly what do other people think?
Yeah, literally.
Well, I'm just going to go back to when we were talking about representation in the media and obviously you guys being comedy, duo, fun things. Do you feel like comedy is a good way to spark important conversations? And in your show, what hard topics are you trying to expose other than poo?
I think comedy is it loosens you up. It also helps, at least for me, dealing with hard things. It's such a coping mechanism, to just crack a joke and just... Yeah, I just think it's healing, especially when people can laugh together. I am just a big fan of comedy. I feel like joking about trauma, but it also takes the power away from it. It makes it easier to deal with, but it also takes the power away from it on you. So we just really amp up the silly and the camp. And I think with that, it allows us to kind of explore. I mean, the whole thing just explores, I guess, the political control of femme bodies. We really tried to stick to this metaphor about poo, but it is hopefully very clearly a metaphor for bodily autonomy, for political pressure, for social pressure and control over femme bodies, which unfortunately is a thing we're
still
dealing with right
seeing
now. Yeah.
Very potently.
Unfortunately.
It feels like it's such a dark ages thing and it should have just stayed there, but it's followed us for some stupid, weird reason.
I can name the stupid reason,
I mean,
but
we
I don't
could,
want to
but
get sued
we're
or
gonna
cancelled.
stay non-political.
Yes.
We want to keep our radio show.
Yeah.
Yes.
So before we talk about how everyone can see your show at Melt, have you performed Hot Girls Don't Poo before and what was the feedback?
We haven't performed the whole thing, but we've performed an early development of a
Snippet, like a teaser.
Two Girls, One Cup.
Horror parody.
Yep.
Oh.
Parody, yeah. And both times, I think people have said that was unhinged.
And you're like, that's what we were going for.
Yeah. Unhinged and poopy.
Yeah.
We did get one comment that there needs to be more poo. And we've delivered.
We've worked on that. You won't get wet.
She said, lying to the front row of the audience.
Yeah, that's the splash zone right there.
Umbrellas.
We'll give you punches.
Yeah.
So this will be the first time. Wow.
Yeah, it's our first development. This will be our first time performing it at all. So this is, if you want to come see the very first show, I'm sure you'll get a show like no other.
And it will be a shit show, but a good one.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to say that.
It's all right. We've read each other's minds.
Oh,
Well, thank you both so much for joining us on the podcast. I really hope that Lauren and I can get to a performance of Hot Girls Don't Poo.
Me too.
Because I really, really want to see it.
I'm so sad I won't be here for the very first shit show.
You won't, but
I'll be
I
in
will,
Japan,
so
but
who
you can
knows
go.
what's going to happen. But so if any of the audience want to catch the show Hot Girls Don't Poo, there's a multitude of dates for Melt festivals. So I've got the info here. The main shows for Hot Girls Don't Poo are running at the Ron Hurley Theatre at Seven Hills on the 10th and 11th of October. And some of the more intimate, maybe splash zone performances are on the 9th, 16th and 17th of October at the Workshop Space. Tickets are via Humanitix and are all $30 and under, so get yourself to see the shit stirrers for their show, Hot Girls Don't Poo, and have a great time.
So you're going to say have a shit hot time.
Have a shit time.
No, a shit hot time.
A hot shit time.
Yeah, that.
So thank you, Tai, and thank you, Maddie, so much for joining us.
Thank
it has
you.
been an absolute pleasure to hear about how you've come up with this amazing show.
I have laughed so much and I needed that, so thank you.
So I guess until next time.
You better remember to
stay gay, motherfuckers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much for having us.
Yeah.